The Nest, now in theaters wherever they're open, new drama starring Jude Law and Carrie Coon. It's a slow burning film that tells the story of a certain family, Rory and Allison, and their son and a daughter from Allison's previous relationship. At the beginning of the film, they all live seemingly very happily in New York. Rory works in stock trading, Allison takes care of stables and also provides horse riding training. One day, Rory says to his wife that they have to move, that his work options are drying up there, and he has a better offer back in London, where he's from. Initially reluctant, Alison eventually agrees and the family move to the UK. They start living in this huge old mansion in the countryside, and Rory seemingly takes care of everything: schools for children, building new stables just for Alison. In fact, he seems to be acting above his station, spending money left and right, going to lavish parties, and in general just presenting himself as a much more successful man than he is at that point in time. He's expecting to make big money soon, but slowly that opportunity seems to be slipping away from him, leading inevitably to tensions in the house, where the other members of the family also experience problems of their own. I'll start with what I liked about the film. I think the two leads, Law and Kun, are incredible. She plays a woman that is getting increasingly frustrated, for good reason, with her husband and has to somehow keep on keeping on while maintaining pretense. He, on the other hand, plays this really slimy, slick guy that who lies all the time, tries to live in this illusion world that he's rich, successful, great in every aspect, when that's not necessarily true. He's someone you grow to really hate over the course of the film, which credit to the performance. The leads in general are both very, very good on their own, but also play off one another spectacularly. There is one scene, a long take, where they have this argument, and it just reminded me so much of Marriage Story. In fact, I sort of wished there were more scenes of the two of them clashing, because there's not as much of that as you may expect. I also like the sense of impending catastrophe that's building up throughout the film, that increasing tension consistently growing between the characters. However, in the face of that, I disliked the ending, because I think that the whole built up tension ultimately ends up going nowhere, really. The resolution of the conflict is not as satisfying as maybe expected, and the last scene just left me disappointed. As I already said, I also would have liked to spend more time with just the two leads, but there is quite a bit of screen time left for the kids, which were both underwhelming and not so interesting. Also, as a kind of a mixed point, I mostly liked how the film's lighting was done. I cannot be sure, but in a lot of scenes it looks like it only uses natural light, which looks beautiful and atmospheric. But occasionally that makes it difficult to make out what exactly is going on the screen. There is one sequence in particular towards the end of the film where I just try to look closer and grasp what was happening, and it's still, I felt like I missed something because of how dark the screen was. So that's a thing. So at the end of the day, The Nest ends up being, I would say it's a decent film, but I have to say I expected more. Knowing it's this type of familial drama with such great actors as Jude Law and Carrie Coon, I wanted more of them together, or rather against one another, and I felt underwhelmed by the fact that the film didn't give me as much of that, instead filling up the screen time with scenes that were much less riveting. It's an okay film with two splendid performances, but on the whole, I was not amazed by it.